All right, time now for a franchise of focus, and we take a look at what Caleb Williams did today. He had 52 passing attempts, which Carr mentioned right off the top. We saw that trending that way. I noticed, let's see, I wrote this down. I think it was 10:05 left in the third quarter. He had already thrown the ball 31 times, which is showing you that they were throwing a lot even in the first half.
27 in the first half.
Yeah, before they had to in the second. And 363 passing yards, 8 rushing yards as well. He threw 2 touchdowns, his first 2 NFL touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Unfortunately, those were not his first 2 NFL interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times. Still under way too much duress, in my opinion, guys. Unfortunate moment with Leatu Latu, who I liked. CBS had the stat ready. He had 3.5 sacks against Caleb Williams in college. So he kept that going. A little UCLA, USC rivalry there. And Leatu Latu was the first defensive player taken on the – I remember we were sitting right here in these same seats on draft night. And we're like, man, still nobody off the board defensively. And then Chris Ballard jumped in there and took the guy who was considered the best pass rusher in the draft, although Jared Verse is off to a nice start in L.A. as well.
Brian Baldinger loves Latu.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Talented pass rusher. He just had the neck issue coming out that people were – because he was medically – like they medically retired him, and then he came back, got a second opinion, and then started playing again. But really talented pass rusher. But that play in particular, the 2 tight ends out there, Cole Kmet and Mercedes Lewis, there's no way you got 2 guys on one. That should never happen. The whole protection everywhere else was awesome. And literally you get a sack fumble because of that play. When you got 2-on-1, can't happen.
When it comes to Caleb, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So I think without being able to see the all-22, obviously, felt like a step forward. Felt like they did clean up some of the communication. I do see a confident quarterback who's still ripping it, and I like that, even when he's missing. Sometimes missing by a lot.
Yep.
Like when he's back there and he's letting that ball loose, you feel like there's a purpose and confidence behind it. Because trust me, there's other quarterbacks when you're like you can kind of almost tell before the camera pans that this is going to be bad. In fact,
Richardson,
I'd say the other guy, if you're a Colts fan, you're probably feeling that way about Anthony Richardson. So I still feel like this is headed in a good direction. I'm wondering why in the second play of the game he's not on the same page with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
That's a red flag to me. You're in your first 15 of the game. The second play of the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, they ran on first down.
Yep.
So that's his first pass of the game, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, that's a play you practiced a lot this week.
Exactly.
That you should know exactly what's happening. So I have no idea if that's on the quarterback or on the wide receiver. I don't like that I'm seeing that on the second play of the game. And then it kind of continued. So the miscommunication is still alarming to me. And the misses downfield. I mean, some of these deep balls aren't even close in the vicinity.
Right.
And I'm not, again, I probably sound like a broken record on this a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. I've seen this guy. You watch this college film. There's plenty of deep balls that are on point. And there were a couple today. I mean, especially the one to Rome was a complete dime, right in the breadbasket at the right spot. So I do think that'll come along, and so will the communication issues, but it's still frustrating to see that on the second play of the game.
So not only him and DJ Moore, but we talked about Cole Kmet had it like an option route as well, was out towards the sideline. Caleb threw it to the inside, and you're kind of like, both of them were like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So they're not on the same page. I think they need to rep this more because those are 2 plays that you're like, those could be first downs in that situation and continue to extend drives, and they were 3 and out on both of those series.
And they had another play, too, where they tried to throw like a screen, a forward screen to DeAndre Swift, where they got some of the offensive linemen outgoing. Yeah. But it didn't look like it was intended to be a screen where Swift stayed. I think Caleb, threw it ahead of him. And then Swift, reached out, and he's looking around he wasn't – I'm not sure whose fault it was there. Look, overall, like I said, there's a lot of things that Caleb can still clean up. And I just tweeted out because Brad Spielberger put, everybody's coming out with the stats now because it is just kind of funny to see Caleb Williams, 363 passing yards, are the 11th most in a game in Bears history, 8th since the AFL-NFL merger. And I said, just imagine when he actually has a good game what this will look like. I mean, and that's kind of the truth. I'm not going to say this was a great game from Caleb Williams. He had 3 turnovers, right? There was a bunch of overthrown balls. That at the end, when you talk about some of the overthrow deeps, The only one that I really had an issue with was when it was one-on-one on a post route to Roma Dunze. Like, give him a chance in front of get it in front of him so he can make it, even try to make a play. It's one-on-one.
Exactly.
He's the king of the 50-50 balls, right? So, that was the one issue I had. And then the other issue I have is on third down, it seemed like they started to figure it out in the second half. But on third down, everything seems to be going upfield and outside the hashes. What happened to the skinny post routes? What happened to the slant routes on 3rd and 4? Everything is go balls.
Well, they did hit Rome on one of those, and he almost got killed.
He did almost,
so
but he stopped for no reason on another one.
Yes,
too.
yeah, and again, miscommunication there based on that looked like man coverage to me. I think you usually keep going on those. You sit down when it's zoned. So I think that was more on Rome than Caleb. Almost was another interception.
Exactly. I think there's just not that much trust between him and the receivers. That's really what it is, because you got to know. You look at some of the best in the league. You look at Travis Kelce. You look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at some of the other talented combos. They know exactly where they're going, and they played together for a long time. But when they're on the same page, they're going to feel off each other, and they're just going to know. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers did that for years against the Bears with his receivers. Right, the back shoulder plays. They know exactly where they are. So hopefully as the season goes on, they get on the same page and have that trust with each other.
I mean, I enjoyed on third down. I got to go back and watch it obviously a couple of times here, but it seemed to me like he was finding Kmet on third down. I know off the top of my head he did it at least twice, which is just huge that he's starting to get a comfort blanket on third down, and him and Kmet, that partnership is building. I thought Cole gave him a great reaction when he threw his first touchdown pass too, which unfortunately the Bears ended up calling timeout there. But the bigger thing to me when I'm watching him right now, and I don't want to be over the top, but that was one of the worst 363-yard passing games I've ever seen. As far as like when you look at the whole totality of it, he's holding the ball in the pocket too long. It just doesn't seem like he has a great feel yet when he absolutely has to get rid of it, which resulted in the fumble late in the game. It also has resulted in him running backwards and trying to get out of trouble, and you're worried that the guy's going to get hurt. So it feels dangerous right now.
We all silly like the mayor.